global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. It's getting clearer to all and sundry top politicians, Nigerians, that 2027 is going to be a game changer. It's going to decide if Nigeria will still remain a democratic state or otherwise. As we speak, there's been a lot of speculations. Will the person of the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, would he be running? There have been, a lot of secret stakeholders meetings going on here and there. But then again, he is a former president. He is entitled to speak and talk and have meetings for the good of Nigeria as a whole, being that he was a former president and still very much active, alive, strong and healthy. Although there have been pressure on him to run. Now, there have been a lot of questions being asked. Would he run? And if he's going to run, will PeterObi run? What is the dimension of his running and what will it take? And there have been finally, a solution has been created for Nigerians to ensure that there's a free, fair and credible election. And here is how a professor took time to explain how we can disarm whatever rigging process that will be put in place by anyone, even INEC themselves, to get our votes right. And of course, the final question, will PeterObi be running against Jonathan? And what is the dimension of international participation? All of this is said and much more. What APC is and how they stand and how they will fare. Let's listen to him and come back for more on that.
Of this government, almost like competitive authoritarianism, we have before us emasculating democratic spaces and shutting down civic centers. Take this, they bring back our girls' center. We find it the Unity Fountain. Under Jonathan, it was there for people to make all the noise, even bring his government down. Today, it is gated by the DSS. You can't even go there and protest. Since the end SARS under Buhari and then end hunger and bad governance under Bola Tinubu, what happened? So understand that at the four key domains of protection of guardrails of democracy, civic centers are shrinking and being depleted. The media is being haunted, including asking them to yield their bank accounts, some of them. Lebanon has been accused of terror financing and parties have actually been put pressure on. So we understand that acutely. It's a duty of Nigerians to rally round to know there is a menace of illiberalism and authoritarianism lurking in the shadows. In 2027, we can't just allow INEC to behave as it did in the past. Remember that 15 years ago, there was a powerful movement called mandate protection. No matter how you reform the electoral system, the electoral apparatus, how you tighten the tools of regulations and rules, if you don't have robust political participation, engagement by voters. For example, every major party contestant should have 2 agents in every polling precinct, well-educated, well-positioned, and well-thought, with a smartphone to record result. 2, party mobilization should occur at every rank, and people must demand for their right. Again, if you add that to the reform, add that to maybe a robust international and local domestic monitoring, and then possibly civic engagement in the next 1 year, 1.5 years, educating the people, warning about dangers that we put our democracy if we lose this coming election. Possibly. We may not have a perfect election, but we may have an election in which the ruling party will be so frightened or cautious enough to allow the will of the people to prevail the way Jonathan did in 2015. That's precisely 10 years ago, slightly more than 10 years ago, that historic moment that former President Jonathan picked that phone and made a call to late President Buhari, then General Muhammad Buhari. I lost you one. Congratulations. Set a tone for a new direction, a new conversation about democracy and its consolidation in Africa, not just Nigeria. Became the brightest moment of the reawakening of democratic sensibilities and consciousness. 10 years down the line, as a global statesman and a leading African figure, the news is all over town. The former President Jonathan may likely seek a second term, even though he has not spoken directly. That is why there's fright. That's why the rank of the power brokers are frightened. And it is understandable for objective reasons why there is confusion in their ranks. I'll ask the question to, you 3 guys. When ministers, party leaders of the APC, and presidential spokespersons give advice to PDP, they've already branded dead. Not to feed Jonathan because of some legal consequences. It looks as if they're taking Panadol for other people's headache. 2 years. The party was pronounced dead, racked by internal factionalization and contradictions that will never find its bearing. Therefore, the party was written off. Now, the same party that was written off is now being asked not to fill the former president because the party has rebounded, recreated and reborn. That took a long time in coming. I'm not a member of the party, but I'm a close watcher of party politics in Nigeria and a student of our history. The rebirth of PDP was a difficult process, marshaled by three forces. The Governors Forum, led by the Governor of Bauchi State, the chairman of that forum, the BOT, led by Senator Mwabara, and the rebranded NWC, led by, Elia Damagos, Ambassador Damagos, the chairman. With the stage coming back of the secretary of the party, the tone was set for party rebranding. 3 or 4 next, a convention just around the corner, and possibility that out of the ashes of its previous, disastrous moment of the past year and a half, the party is set to become coherent once more. If that happens, and President Jonathan, on the heels of the persuaders who are very agitated that they should come into the fray and save the nation, almost on the edge of the precipice. That's why they find this particular phenomenon is rankling the ranks of the APC and the presidential insiders. If it happens, my suspicion is that it's not only the internal factors of his competence and ability, maybe to do what he did, decade plus ago.
All right, welcome back. For want of time, I'll quickly explain some of the things he said about APC. A lot of persons believe that APC right now is a ruling party. They have, like you would say, winner wins it all. They have all of it put in one. They have all the senators, and they have the majority of politicians in almost all the sectors of the economy, sectors of a political position. You could say that literally any opposition coming against them is just waste of time. But it's good to note that unlike other parties that have great level of grassroots participation, the APC are not organic. Let me borrow his words. Say they're inorganic. They are just, scrapples here and there, and they do not have the people's mandate as a priority. What they have is the politicians' mandate. They have more of the interest of the political elite than the grassroots. They believe more in having governors, defected governors, politicians who would, run the affairs for them. But and that's why when they run on their platform, they look more to see, they're into the interest of the political class than the average Nigerian. And that's why some of this opposition, if they go grassroots, like Labour Party, just like PeterObi is doing, then you would notice that they will have the people, the vast number of the people, and the vast number of people are much more than the politicians. Now, all it needs now is for Nigerians to be educated on how to protect their vote, how to marry their vote, and how to ensure that their vote counts. And you see how even they themselves, the APC, will get very jittery. And he talked about the issue of international politics, that if for any reason the person of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan decides to run, it's no longer going to be a national election. It's now going to be an international election, judging the fact that he's coming in now with a higher level of intelligence, higher level of experience. But then again, do not forget the PeterObi factor, where he already has the grassroots presence. Well, that's where we're going to wrap it up. What's your take? Do you think that PeterObi has what it takes to become the president? Or do you think Jonathan is what we need to disarm the government of the day, to make sure the vote of the people counts come 2027? Let's interact in our comments.